So here at OsteoStrong, we get a lot of the same questions again and again. So I'm hoping to answer the 5 most common questions that we get, and that will help you understand what we do at OsteoStrong. One of the biggest questions that we get is OsteoStrong safe, and how do I make sure I'm not gonna get injured? I think this is probably the most important question for pretty much everyone, because if you're worried about low bone density, the thing you're trying to prevent is an injury. So you don't want the solution to increase your injury chance. So at OsteoStrong, we're using equipment and a technology that puts you in full control at all times. We're gonna coach you through how to pay attention to your body, how to make sure that you're always staying within your safe limit, and that's going to keep you very, very safe. A lot of people also ask, what's the origin of OsteoStrong? How did it get started? And it actually started out of Tennessee. There was a doctoral student there who was studying the body, how does physical activities affect your neurochemistry? And while he was studying this, his mom came to him and said, "Hey son, I've got osteoporosis, what do I do about this?" And that kick-started his journey of, who naturally has really good bone density, what are those activities that they do to create that good bone density, and then are there any drawbacks? And so a big thing he was looking at were gymnasts have really great bone density in their lower body, but unfortunately they have a higher rate of knee and hip replacement. So how do you get that benefit of what gymnasts do with high impact forces without the risk, without having to spend years and years learning form? One of the most common questions we get at OsteoStrong is this a supplement? Is this a gym? It's not a supplement. You're not going to be taking anything or having to change your diet. But what it is it's a very specific set of trigger events. And so these trigger events, you're not gonna break a sweat, you're not gonna feel sore the next day, so very different from a gym. And you actually even accomplish this entire circuit in just 10 minutes. But what we've done is we've used science to figure out what's the minimum dose response in order to trigger bone density, and then we've created the safest way possible to get that response in the body and to trigger that response. Another question we get is, how do we know that OsteoStrong works? What's the proof that this process does what we hope it does? There's actually been 100 years of research known as Wolff's Law, trying to figure out, does pressure on bones cause the body to build bone density? And time again, they found that to be true. And then even recently, we've been able to study specifically the OsteoStrong equipment and that specific form of osteogenic loading. And for that as well, we now have several studies that show this process does build bone density for people of any age. One of the other questions we frequently get is, how does 10 minutes a week have this big of an impact on the body, and how can this actually achieve that result? And the reason that this works is because we're triggering an adaptive response in the body, something like how your eyes dilate when there's a lot of light, or how your body will start sweating when you get too hot. It's that same kind of process that the body triggers, and it's going to be adapting to that or reacting to that trigger for much longer than the trigger was actually present. And so that's what they found in the research, is they've looked at, okay, how many loading cycles do you need in a session? And they found you just need 1 loading cycle for each area of the body. And then also, how frequently do you need these loading cycles? And they've found that a 7 to 10 day cadence is all it takes to trigger that change in your bone density. These have been some of the frequently asked questions that we've noticed, but maybe you've had a question that didn't come up in this video. Leave us a comment, or you can email us to ask your specific questions. And if we get a specific question a lot, we'll definitely make another version of this video to include that and include your specific questions.